Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome back. Today I am going to be doing a reading on the lunar eclipse that is going to be happening. It's going to be taking place with May 1st through the 7th, I want to say, if I'm correct. So this reading is going to kind of be just dealing with kind of like the energies that you're going to be dealing with this lunar eclipse. Typically, because this is in Scorpio, it deals with kind of like, I just think of like secrecy, things kind of like that macabre. Those things are kind of being revealed. And as you can see here from these four piles, we have a lot of feminine energy that we're going to be dealing with here. As we have the Queen of Swords and the upright, the Queen of Coins in reverse, the Empress in reverse, and then we have the Wheel in the upright. And so for today, I want you all to kind of just delve into the energy that you're going to be dealing with. This does not mean that you are a woman or, a female, that kind of thing. It's just bringing into that feminine energy that we're going to be dealing with. So there could be some more feminine energy that's coming into your life to help balance things out, or whether there's some a lot of like too much femininity that you have been delving into for this whole lunar eclipse that you're going to have to remove. Also, I think it's very fitting that we get that kind of energy, because typically when we're dealing with the moon, those kind of like watery energies, it is very feminine in nature, essentially. So I think that makes sense to me. But without blabbing on too much, I'm going to let you all just kind of pick a pile, and then I'm going to go through, I'm going to shuffle kind of like the oracle cards and everything like that, so we can get more information, and then we're going to go on from there. So once you choose it, I'll get back into each individual pile, and then you'll kind of see what you all resonate with. But before we get started, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And stay tuned for more tarot and divination videos that I'll be doing in the upcoming few days, I will say. Typically try to go live, but I'll be busy this week, so that's why I'm pre-recording a lot of stuff. So without further ado, let's get into pile one. Okay, so pile one, as you can see, I did not pull any additional cards. I just kind of left it there, that this is kind of like what you chose. This is what you're dealing with. I'm going to try to see if we can get any more information on this instead of just going off the dome. This is some Libra energy here, as you can tell. I don't know if you can see that there. That's dealing with Libra energy. So there kind of makes me definitely think of like balance. Maybe disillusionment is another thing that comes to mind. But we're going to... fairness. Okay, so we did have 3 cards that popped out for you all here. So let's see here. We have the Hermit, we have Temperance, and then we also have the Ten of Swords. So to me, this is kind of reading that something is coming to a brutal end here. I think it's calling for you to kind of be more withdrawn or within yourself here, that there's some work that you kind of need to do behind the scenes, maybe that you need to kind of isolate, not self exile, but isolate and really think on. Again, you have the Temperance here. It's still this rhyme and reason of balance here as well. So it could also be dealing with kind of like that masculine feminine energy. As you see, it's coming from like the water with the rainbow into the fire. So maybe it's saying like lean more into that masculine energy that you have, or maybe there's kind of like a masculine presence that's going to leave you. With this being in the back, I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be Jupiter, I think, in the background. That kind of just reads like Daddy Jupiter. Sorry, you hear my dog in the background. So yeah, it just kind of feels like there's some tethering. It's kind of like what I keep thinking is what I keep hearing, tethering. So something that's kind of keeping you grounded, so to speak, because you do have like a lot of lofty energy here. So then we're going to get into it with the Dark Mirror Oracle and see if we can get some more details on kind of like this energy that you're dealing with, because you have both the Hermit and Temperance here. So let's get more clarity on why this Hermit card is here for pile ones. the Queen of Swords. Okay, so those flew all the way over there. So we have anger and chains. So this reads like there's a situation that you need to kind of get out of. You also have envious gluttony, something that you are wanting or that you may feel like you deserve that somebody else may have. Let's see, sorry, gotta put these on the screen for you. And then you got, is this me? So this kind of feels like you have been feeling out of sorts, out of character lately, and maybe that's kind of like why it's calling in for balance. Maybe that's probably why it's asking you to be in some kind of like self-isolation here, so you can kind of get back to who you once were, do a bit more deep dive, a bit more work that you need to do that you've probably been avoiding. The underlying energy here is also the temple of my body, so you're not feeling kind of like yourself, you're feeling out of sorts, you're feeling, it's kind of want to say like out of body experience is kind of what comes to mind. Going back to the tarot deck here, you do have the Ace of Cups as the underlying energy. So maybe this is something of kind of like you're getting out of a bad, not a bad relationship, but kind of like some kind of romantic relationship. It feels like to me that you're probably coming out of, or this getting ready to end, or it's just been like very tumultuous lately. Maybe you've been doing a lot of self-sacrificing here in this relationship, that so much so that you kind of forgot who you are. So let's see here. We're going to get into it a bit more with the mausoleas. This kind of wanted to come out. We have Abraham, justice, truth, and duty. For this to be kind of like the Libra card in this particular deck of the Mausolea, and then it comes up in reverse, is definitely saying that you are out of whack, out of balance, not yourself. Let's see if we get one more card here. Yep, we did. Secrets. It's literally and this was the card. I don't know if you've seen it earlier when I had flipped it over. Nyx was literally on the bottom earlier, and I was going to read, and I said, nope, let me shuffle it and see. But you did get Nyx, Enchantress of Night. Very fitting when you're dealing with a lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So again, secrets being revealed. Maybe there's going to be some self-realization that's going to be happening here, because you have secrets, vigilance, and subterfuge. Okay, and so when I read this, to me, this feels like when I see subterfuge, I had to look that word up for a minute, because I was like, that's dealing with deceit, right? Yes. But to me, this doesn't read as if the other party is being deceiving. To me, it reads as if you're being deceiving. And I don't think it's a malicious intent behind it, so to speak, but it's just, again, I'm reading kind of like, if I conform as much as I need to be, or if I pretend that I like as much as my significant other, this other person, whether it's a business or a romantic relationship, if I pretend to like them, or in the things that they like just as much as they like some of the things I like, quote unquote, maybe they'll think that we're destined to be, that we're meant to be, and nothing bad can happen. And I think that facade is starting to crack, and they're starting to see through that. And again, I think you kind of like bought into your own lies, so to speak. Let me adjust this here. It feels like you've kind of started to believe your own lies here, and you have kind of started trying to put on this persona as if it's really you, when it's not. Okay, let's get into this some more. This is going to be the last clarifying round, and then we're going to get into kind of like some solutions, next steps that you need to do. I don't like to just divulge everything and not give you some kind of like wherewithal of where to go next, because sometimes that is the hardest thing. You probably sometimes need a bit of an idea, a bit of a push on where to go from there. And both of these come up in reverse. So definitely there is no joy that's being experienced in this relationship. How can it be when you're faking the funk, so to speak, in this entire situation? This reminds me, I think, I want to say that's a chrysanthemum. They're very good in like um, Asian culture. But then you also have the dragonflies. So dragonflies are good for rebirth. They also are kind of like one of the few things people think of when it comes to like transformations as well. Because, you know, yeah, they're born in the water and then they start to fly. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So that's kind of like what that's revealing here. And then you also had the wisdom card first. And this is also dealing with more moon things here. Is that a Taurus? It looks like a Taurus. I don't know if you can kind of see that on his forehead. So yeah, some grounding here as well. So then you also have this card here dealing with wisdom. It has this huge moon in the back. It's an owl, so it's also dealing with nocturnal creatures. They also kind of deal with self-isolation, not kind of like not kind of like I'm thinking of like kind of like being pushed out. They deal with just self isolation. They're very kind of like self sufficient creatures, and so to me, it's telling you to kind of go back to what you were. Get that insight here again. I think again it's speaking to that facade that's coming in. All right, my power ones, and now we're going to get into what is some first steps you can take to either avoid this brutal ending or to kind of move forward from this ending, just in case if you're already in this situation where the mask is falling off and there's a lot of back and forth that's happening. Okay, I feel like this wanted to come out, but I'm going to flip this over and we're going to just let it come as it may. Okay, I get 3 cards and kind of what my power one should do to move forward. Look at all these multiple faces. Inner integration. Yeah, there's a lot of fakery in this dancery going on in here, okay? That you need to get out of. Oop. Distorted desire. What did I say? It's just being reconfirmed. It's just being confirmed over and over and over and over again throughout this entire reading. There is clearly some, you know, and even going back to this, she's wearing a mask. She's wearing a mask essentially, or a helmet. I don't know if you felt like you had to put on this persona or you had to wear these masks in order to get to this point that you are in life, or to get this person to like you, or to get into this business involvement or situation, whatever it may be. It seems that you wore the mask and told those lies or whatever you needed to do to get where you are, and you have started to believe it, and you can no longer discern the truth from the fiction, or the fact from the fiction, and the truth from the false, and kind of like what's the character versus who's the actual you. And again, with this inner integration, I don't know if you can see that. It says there is peace, equilibrium, and fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming and tempering effect life has on us. And as you can see here, it's a woman going through all stages of her life. So again, going back to that feminine energy, you also have feminine energy with this as well, distorted desire. Conscious desire rarely satisfies the unconscious need driving it. So there's clearly something you were trying to run away from, and maybe at that time it was what you needed to tap into that energy to get to where you are, but you no longer need that facade and stuff anymore. Let your real self show, or start going back to who you were and wearing that face when you're in that particular surrounding or setting or whatever it may be. But you need to kind of like let that go, let that drop. I will say also your underlying energy here is renewal. Regeneration begins with decay. So it doesn't seem like you can avoid this ending here. this bitter, tough ending that's coming in for you. It seems like it needs to happen. It kind of feels like it's a tower moment that's coming in that needs to happen in order for you to start anew. There's some raising that is going to happen before, and you're going to have to be kind of like the phoenix rising from the ashes kind of thing. That's kind of like the energy that's coming up. Going back, yep, underlying energy, peace. When it comes to the mystic oracle, you have peace. I don't know, did I read the underlying energies for these other ones? I did for that one, but not for the Mausolea, huh? Vanth, caretaker, respite, assistance, memory. This, I want to say, when it's the upside down triangle, that deals with water, right? No, that's fire. So, passion. I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. We're kind of like having to get back into that. So yeah, power ones, that's what I'm getting for you all. Kind of like during this lunar eclipse, you are going to deal with a downfall, a break. Somebody is going to be revealing things about you, not you revealing things about someone else. Somebody is probably going to feel like you lied to them, deceived them, whatever that case may be. And you're trying to kind of like prevent that from happening or hide from it. And there's nothing you really can do. Like, you've carried this play on as far as it can, and now it's time to close the curtains on that so you can move forward and do something else. And this may be something that will lead to not a bitter end, but maybe a good end, because with all endings there is a beginning. So take comfort in that as well. You started with air and you ended with air, so at the end of the day you're kind of just going back into this cyclical progress that needs to be made. So wishing you luck with that. I hope this gives you a bit of comfort going into these dark times, so to speak, and hopefully this helps you kind of come out on the other side, more clear-headed and more grounded again on what you need to do, because I know for air signs that is something very hard for you all to do. So wishing you all well. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you like this reading. Share to anyone else that you think you'd utilize this message as well, or there may be something in this pile that they will need to kind of like get information on. And I will see you all on the next one, or I will see you later on in the other piles if you resonated with one of those as well. So good luck. Okay, welcome. Pile 2, the Queen of Coins. Here, as we get closer into this, this also makes me think of protection as well. I don't know if you can kind of see the pentagram on her. This makes me think of there's some protection. Maybe there's also some movement forward that you need to do, because you do have that Sagittarius. They're known for kind of like not wanting to stay in one place, for having to want to travel. This also brings up Virgo energy, I want to say this one is. So it's kind of like this, yes, I'm looking for home. Like, where's my new home? Where's my new landing pad that I'm going to be moving into? Kind of like some great spring energy, mind you. So without further ado, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe. Help me with this algorithm. So sorry if it looks a little different. I had to adjust the camera. But okay. So getting back into this, we are going to see what energies and why you are dealing with them during this Scorpio Lunar Eclipse. Let's kind of get into, where's my pile twos? What is the energies? During Scorpio Lunar Eclipse. Ooh, my ear is kind of like wanting to ring. I don't know if anybody else have this, but that muffle just before it starts ringing, it did that, and I felt a little pressure on my head, like it was building up. But okay, here. All right, and so energies that you are dealing with, it kind of makes me feel like you think you're on top of things, that you have things together when you really don't. It also makes me think that this also kind of makes me feel that maybe people who don't really know you on the outside, if you even let people know you honestly, Sagittarius, Virgos, people look at you and think that you have your shit together and you really don't have all of it together. But you have kind of painted this image or persona of yourself, or maybe you just elude this kind of like, I got my shit together kind of energy. And I think it's kind of starting to wear on you now. And you're kind of wanting to give that up. You're kind of wanting to fall into like, I want to be the soft friend. I want to be the one that I can lean on other people. I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that. I don't know if you also seen that underneath here. You do have the Lover's energy underneath. So this could be something just kind of like a merging of, internal yourself. I always think of like, kind of like Geminis here when it comes to this kind of energy. Geminis typically have a hard time loving other people, but they love themselves kind of thing. So yeah. Just gonna shuffle this up. We're gonna figure out why this World and Strength card is here for you, pile too. Okay, and those are 3 cards here. You have Atonement. Ooh, there's some payback coming in. You also have, okay, this is sounding very familiar, feeling very familiar to pile 1. You may have resonated with that one. You have Hiding Your True Self, and then Addicted. Okay, this is what I'm getting. This is what I'm getting. Okay. This feels like, yes, that Sagittarius Virgo energy. You don't really allow people to get close enough to really kind of get a bead on you, to kind of read you, but you also kind of crave that interaction of being with other people to show how awesome you are to other people as well. I think people also, appreciate your kind of like grounding energy, how you seem to know everything, or you seem to have a connection to this person and that person, but none of these people you actually consider to be close. And so I think what you're kind of dealing with the lunar eclipse, it kind of feels, it really feels like Beyonce energy. I don't know if that kind of makes sense to you all, of like, you know how Beyonce, everybody says, oh, she does so well, she does good work, she's this and she's that, but nobody truly knows her. No, she doesn't do interviews, she doesn't really go out like that, you don't really hear about her having like a industry friend. Like, she just seems like a loner, like very to herself, but you know her for her craft. This is kind of like what this is bringing up for me, and now it seems like you're kind of reaping those consequences of like no one ever really being close to you. And I think it's kind of like you feel alone, you feel separated, you feel alienated, you feel like, do I really belong anywhere? Is there really a tribe or something out there for me? So maybe this is kind of calling you to kind of start working on those friendships, building like that village, that culture around you. Maybe you are also starting to crave family, but again, because you haven't really allowed anybody to get close to you or to really know you, you don't, even if you do currently have a partner, maybe you feel like they don't really know you, or they feel like they don't really know you, that you haven't really let down your mask around them. And so it kind of seems like you have the world, again, this is reading facade, again, of seeming like you have shit together, or that, everything is hunky-dory, but it's really not. And then let's get into this a bit more. And I feel like this keeps wanting to come out. So you have El Shaddai, you have the Lady of the Mask. Again, this is starting to recall to pile 1. I really think you should probably go back to pile 1. This is kind of picking up on the same energy. And then you have Arishka Gil. And Arishka Gil is a pretty interesting card too, because I feel like she is a very mysterious, well, You see it there, suspicion. She does come off as a very mysterious kind of character in mythology. Is she good? Is she bad? Was she a savior? Was she once something that we praised? So I think that's pretty interesting that you got that. But you also got Lady of the Mask, which deals with reclamation, vanity, surface appearances. Am I psychic or what? Wrath, instability, suspicion, and then you also have El Shaddai, the Radiant Lord, wisdom, paternalism, and kindness. So, if we're going to look into this a little bit, I need to look up paternalism. I want to say this is dealing with father figures. Paternalism, the theory or practice of paternal government. So fatherly manner, yep, especially by providing for their needs without giving them rights or responsibilities. So again, even though a lot of this is dealing with feminine energy, I don't know if you picked the feminine and the strength, the feminine and the Five of Cups, you have the feminine with the coins, the Lady of the Mask, Arishka Gil. They all kind of bring up this feminine energy here that we're dealing with, but then it's like, okay, you need to balance that out with some of this masculine. Maybe there is a father wound here that you have yet to deal with, that has kind of like driven you to be this kind of like closed off yet disciplined person. Again, don't just read like some Beyonce energy. Like I instantly thought of like her dad drilling her, grooming her to be like the best, biggest star, very structured person, and now it's just like her whole personality. And it's kind of like hard to break away from Beyonce the star versus Beyonce the wife, Beyonce the friend, Beyonce the like the everyday girl Beyonce, the girl next door from Beyonce, the Beyonce from Texas. It kind of brings in that same energy. So with all of that being said, again, I just don't like to bring up the problems without leaving you with solutions. So we're gonna see. Ooh, that was a bad one. Sorry if that perked your ears there. So we're gonna get into some solutions. What are some things that you can do to kind of like break through this? Because obviously you're not feeling strong enough to do it yourself. Maybe at this point it's just so ingrained in you, it's really just a part of your personality. There's nothing you can really change about it, but kind of like how can you get other people? Oh, that's not looking good. Misalignment. Let me get some more clarifying cards here. Oh, this one wants to come out, the unknown. So it's something that's not going to be revealed to me. I want to see if we're going to get one more card here on what to do. Oh, they gave me two. So we have false beliefs and then spirit self. So I'm going to move these over so you can actually see them on screen. Okay, so misalignment reads, miracles become normal once we face all of the aspects of our life in the same direction. So maybe there's some misalignment here of like, maybe you're trying to keep some kind of separation with work and life, love and health, those kind of things, and it's not all like, okay, well, I'm focused on this and everything needs to be focused on this in my life. And so maybe that's kind of like where the misalignment is coming from. You do also have the unknown. So typically when I see that, it kind of feels like when you get the Empress card, trust your intuition, or it's like Empress meets the moon. Something that maybe I cannot divulge to you, but you probably know exactly what this is dealing with, what you need to be kind of focusing on. There is something here that you are holding, obviously, that is a false belief that you are recognizing about yourself, because this says, once the truths that we believe about ourselves are illuminated, so are the ways we can release the false limitations they confine us to. This is going back to that El Shaddai here, of that paternalism, that government, kind of like how you govern yourself, how you govern those around you, how you govern your relationships. Maybe you kind of bring in I want to say, yeah, like a militaristic mindset of like everything has to be perfectly stationed and separated and not touching and no overlapping, no intersectionality can happen when it comes to my life. And maybe that is being hard for you to kind of like keep up at this point. Maybe there is some things that need to overlap here in order to free up space for something else. You do also have be who you are as you are. So again, this is bringing back some of that breaking down the facade, letting down the mask, not trying to hide yourself from certain people. A lot of this feels like kind of like the overall big picture that we're dealing with globally. Of a lot of people are coming back out of their homes, literally their shells, their cells, after being secluded for so long, and maybe they kind of like we as a collective, or at least you, Pile One and Pile Two, have kind of like forgot who you are in the midst of that, or you've kind of started to discover who you are or break down those things that you initially believed about yourself, and now you're stepping out with a new outlook on life, essentially, which we all should. Very scary times. So yeah, this is kind of like the energy that I'm getting for you also. Definitely something that dealing with yourself and how you govern yourself in your life. Maybe there is some separation that needs to start overlapping and intersecting, and you need to just kind of stand up in that and be strong in it, like this is who I am and this is what it is. Or maybe there is a thing of just like excuse me, there is some things of like, okay, well, I need to draw a boundary or a barrier here in order for this to be okay with me. Like, obviously, I do not want my personal affecting my work, and I do not want my work affecting my personal, and so forth. So, yeah, that's what I'm getting on for you all, Pal, too. This is kind of like the energy you're going to be dealing with the Scorpio, this lunar eclipse in Scorpio. This is something that's going to be being revealed with you. This is kind of going to be your lesson that you're going to be dealing with over the next 6 days at least. That's going to help set you up for the rest of the year of kind of like how are you going to move forward with all of this energy. So I wish you well. Hopefully this kind of like gets you um, kind of like a first step on where to go out of this. And yeah, like, comment, and subscribe. Oh, lastly, I do want to say this. There is knowledge here. Yep, there's some knowledge. I think there's something about yourself that you are going to have to divulge. Again, I don't know exactly what that is. It could be starting off with something here that I'm saying, but only you will know exactly, because you have the owl, speaks to wisdom, Erishka El Shaddai, wisdom, spirit of self. The apple, I think of Adam and Eve, the fruit of knowledge. So there is some knowledge, some discovery, some opening up that's going to be happening here. You do also have the world on here twice. I don't know if you kind of see the globe here. So there is something that's going to be revealed that's going to crack your world wide open, that's going to change things for you moving forward. So I do wish you luck. This sounds like this be a good thing once you start letting that mask down and start looking internally and stop trying to be so structured. And this also could do with an external force as well, with El Shaddai, the government, things like that. Maybe there is some oppressive energy that you're dealing with that, not knowing where you are. But maybe there's also something about that of like, I'm ready to go against the grain instead of just being the goody two shoes, following what society has told me to do. So with that, my rule breakers, I'm going to call you the rule breakers for Power 2. I hope this kind of like helps you move forward, give you some better insight, again, kind of gives you some peace moving forward through this lunar eclipse. And I hope you comment, like, and subscribe. If you like this video, share if there's something in here that you feel someone else may need to hear. And with that, I am going to move on to pile 3. So I will either see you in the next video, or I will see you in pile 3 or 4 if you resonated with those as well. All right, pile 3. So you have the Empress, and with this being in reverse and the Empress being literally like the counterpart to the moon, kind of like divulging the feminine energy, the birth of something new. To me, this kind of feels like maybe you are feeling stagnant about something. Maybe there is something that you know very well that you are not doing. This could also be something dealing with energy around kind of like something maybe you put a halt on at a previous time that you need to get back into, whatever that case may be. But before I try to do a whole divination reading on this, I'm going to pull some more cards, obviously, so we can get down to the nitty gritty of it. But before that, I would like you to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like these videos, if you want to see more of these, or if you have something for a video you would like to see me do in the future. So with that, pile 3, the Empress. Let's pull some more cards to see what you all will be dealing with. Okay, so coins here. And that looks like the 4 cards that are trying to come out. I will say the underlying energy is the 9 of coins. Independence, independence, independence. Seems like a lot of earthly energy here. So we do have the 7 of Cups, and then we have, so we have the 7 of Cups and the 5 of Coins in reverse, and then the Knight of Cups in the upright. I like to describe the cards just in case if you're listening to this and you're not really looking at the screen. So, this makes me feel, yeah, so you are not being very giving about something. This reads like very stingy, and I don't know, maybe it's like against your nature. With the 5 of Coins in reverse, and then you also have the 7 of Cups in reverse as well, it just reads like stinginess. But you do have the Knight of Cups in the upright. And this speaks to kind of like that Libra Scorpio energy. Very fitting. Kind of like the energy we're getting into with this whole lunar eclipse. So maybe you are being very stingy when it comes to love, romance, kind of like the people that you're dealing with. And maybe that's why you have this. Let me pick that back up. I know y'all hear my nails struggling, don't you? And maybe that's probably why you also have this 9 of Coins underneath. When I think of Virgos, when they're in love, they are very giving creatures. They do what they can when they're with their significant other, when they think they found their other person. They can be very giving, very structured, very all or nothing. And to me, it seems like you're kind of going against that nature here when you have the 5 of Coins and the 7 of Cups in reverse. You also have the Empress. This is also very giving, very fortuitous, very fortune, very forthright energy, very kind of like maternal, feminine energy here. Very, I give what I can, and you're not. It seems like you are being very selfish about something again. But let's see if I'm right. We're gonna get more information on this. Perchance to dream. Look at that. Triumph of lies. Yeah, this reads like you are selling somebody something in this romantic relationship. It's really not what it is. And then addicted. This reads like narcissistic energy to me. But I don't know you. So let me not jump to conclusions on that. Um, Okay, I'm gonna tell you what this feels like. This feels like someone who gets a thrill out of the chase. You like people chasing after you, falling for you, but then you pull up short, just when you kind of feel yourself falling for them, or you feel like they've fallen for you too much. Um, yeah, this really the energy that I'm picking up on. It's kind of like, and I feel like you don't just do this in romantic relationships. I feel like you do this in friendships too. Maybe even with like close family members. Um, you kind of let people think that they know you without actually letting them know you. You're like a little porcupine. You don't really let people get close. And I think you've kind of made that a habit. You're addicted to that. You're addicted to that, seriously. I hope that's not the energy that I'm picking up on here, but I'm going to get some more clarity. King Arthur, that's not a selfish man I've ever met in my life, so don't stop. So you have Arthur, companionship, nobility, self-realization. Mm. You have, and mind you, Arthur came up in reverse. You also do have the ages, the light and the darkness, healing, graciousness, acceptance. And then you do have Anubis, the arbiter of truth, in reverse. Preservation, neutrality, obligation. So maybe this is a form of preservation for you, or maybe it once was, it no longer is, and now you're kind of like, okay, now I really want the companionship and everything, but you've kind of made it hard because you've painted yourself into this corner. You've kind of like painted your back into this corner, um, where now you feel like that's how you love. Like it kind of feels like you've learned you don't really let people get close, otherwise you're gonna hurt. In the end. And I think that's where your healing and acceptance is coming in. That's something, this self realization that you're coming to, you're learning about yourself, that's being revealed during this lunar eclipse. And I don't know if it's something somebody has told you or revealed to you, or something that you're coming to know about yourself now, where you're like, wow, I'm the main thing in the way of me actually cultivating genuine, trusting, loving, wholesome relationships with people, because I don't really let people know who I am. I don't really let people in. I kind of just play this game of like being a people pleaser, people knowing me, but then I pull back and not really caring and knowing about what they do. Um, but again, let's get more clarity on this here. We do have heal. There is some healing here, so maybe there's some hope after all. Because you do have this healing card. And then, oh, again, this wisdom. Okay, so owls is coming out through this entire reading so far. For all three piles, I've seen owls in every single one. But you do also have provide, Taurus. And if that isn't a message all in itself, you have the Taurus provide here. Taurus are people who are going to indulge their senses, every sense. They're going to give you a whole, what they call it, sensory experience. You're going to hear something that's going to be nice. You're going to smell something nice. You're going to feel something nice. They're going to speak nice. You're going to feel nice. They're going to awaken all those senses in you, even spiritually, because all those culminate together, and it's just going to make a nice, wholesome hodgepodge, so to speak, that's going to make you just like, okay, got it. And so then you also have the heal here and the wisdom. So again, there is some insight here. And maybe this is also saying that you need to start giving. You need to start providing that giving, that nurturing, cow, mother, maternal energy within yourself, and giving it back as well. But first, you need to kind of heal. What? Yeah, did I say it was probably like some some childhood wound here that you probably learned to kind of be closed off from people like this. Maybe it was something in the past where people revealed your secrets, or you probably had a emotionally detached parent, or raising style, paternal style, not paternal. Um, Family structure where maybe y'all didn't hug and things like that. It was very like strict and structure, and you kind of gotten used to that, and you felt like, oh, this is how everybody loved, and that's not the case. And now you're starting to learn that again, and now you're kind of like, I want to get out of that. I want to break this. Um, can I say family curse or generational curse, whatever that may be? But maybe you just like, I don't want to be that cold-hearted person anymore. I want to move forward from that. Okay, and again, I don't just like to leave you with problems without providing solutions. And this, okay, we're going to try that again. Sorry. We're going to try this again. Oh, I don't know. Did I read the underlying energies for you all? Because I definitely be forgetting to do that. Alone in the world. That was the dark mirror. So this row here with the addicted, alone in the world. You do have Jean the May in the Mausolea, humility, disillusionment, champion. I said it, some disillusion. And then for this one, play. So again, when I usually see play as well, it always makes me think of like childhood. So there's definitely something probably stemming from when you were younger, or something learned when you were younger, whether it was mentally, physically, emotionally not mature in some kind of way, and you kind of learned this behavior of kind of like being detached. Um, so again, just reaffirming those are all the underlying energies that you have here. Transition. So yes, this is boding well for you all, Pile 3, my empresses. Um, there's some rebirth happening here. There's some change. You also have voice. You are here to be known. So speak up. It's funny. So if you know anything, they usually say Taurans rule the throat, your throat chakra, and then you also have the voice as well. So maybe there's some communicating, some speaking up that you need to do in order for this process to heal and start moving forward. Maybe you need to start working with kind of like your therapist, your counselor, or speaking to the parent or parents or individual who kind of taught you how to be so emotionally distant, cold. I'm going to throw these out here because they both flipped over. It's only 2 cards. But I will say, look, oh, yeah, it's somebody you need to work with. Assistance with access. It is necessary to ask for and accept help in order to receive it. So you can't start doing this transition without connecting with whoever this external force, source, person is, that kind of like got this idea in your head that it's okay to be emotionally cold and detached. This makes you feel like you probably started to be aware of this about yourself as well, but you've kind of been trying to go it alone. Or maybe you've been afraid to start repairing on it because you feel like it's probably going to start changing a lot of the um, relationships or and people around you. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. If nobody can take you during your growth periods, they shouldn't be there when you kind of get to that point of like where you are settled again. If they can't, okay, it's like, if you can't handle me and deal with me and rock out with me during the hurricane, don't think you're going to be here for the rebuilding process when things are, starting anew. If you can't be with me through the storm, the tornado, the hurricane, whatever it is, don't expect to be part of the revitalization project as well. When you can start reaping those rewards, when I'm at the point where, now we can build. Um, And so kind of like that's the overall energy I'm getting with that. Um, so also with repair, you have making amends rather than fun times. Reveals a relationship's true constitution. So again, this could be two ways. This could be dealing with the romantic partner or partners or relationships that you have in your life that you need to start repairing and working on. Or again, this could be going back to the person you need to be talking to who've kind of again taught you or made you believe that you had to be emotionally detached, essentially, because it just reads like emotional detachment to me. Or physically, mentally, emotionally closed off from people to where you are having such a hard time connecting with others. um, I think obviously you know what you want. It's just hard kind of getting there because again you're like, oh, I'm gonna have to be vulnerable. I'm gonna have to peel off layers. I can't hide, but behind this wall that I built, I have to tear this all down in order to get to where I want. And you're kind of like, ooh, I don't think I really know if I want that. Not like that. Um, but again, there's hope because you have transition here. So you just have to kind of really focus on that and work on that and get to where you want to be. Um, so yeah, that's what I'm getting for you all, pile three. This is kind of like the overall energy that you're going to be dealing with for the lunar eclipse. You're going to have to do some rebuilding, some tearing down in order to get to the high ground. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe if you like that reading. I am going to, oh, also share this as well. Help out with this algorithm. Get some more people in here to kind of like start liking the videos, and comment if there's a video topic that you kind of want to see me do in the future, and I'll see if I can do it. With all that being said, I'm going to move on to pile four. See you there if you resonate with them. If not, I wish you a great day or night wherever you are. All right. Lastly, we have power fours. You literally have the four there. I want to say, is that Jupiter, Mercury? One of them that deals with the four. You have that energy that's coming in here. You have the wheel of fortune. So this always makes me think of like either there's some good fortune coming in, some good karma coming in, especially with it in the upright, or maybe there is a cyclical thing that you're going to be dealing with here. This is literally dealing with the celestial beings above, because as you see, it has all of the zodiac signs here. So it's just kind of like calling all of them in, calling all of them home, and you kind of having to deal with that. So without further ado, Power Fours, I want you to like this video, or at least comment and subscribe if you're watching this. Share this to someone if you care. And I am going to start getting to your message for what you will be dealing with, or with secrets, things that will be getting revealed to you during this lunar eclipse. Something flipped over for sure. That was way too many cards. This wants to come out. Can I get one more card? And the priestess. So there's a lot of blocked energy coming in towards the end of this lunar eclipse for you. Again, this is lasting from May 1st to the 6th, 7th. So there's going to be some blocked energy coming in here. I don't know if you're also a person that's kind of like a tarot reader or a spiritual person, or you really rely on a lot of your intuition, but I think you're going to be dealing with like a lot of blocked impulses, intuitions, messaging that's coming through. So even though this is supposed to be bringing in kind of like good energy for you, it feels like you're kind of starting off with a false, yeah, like a false positive, a false victory. Um, Something isn't what it seems right now. Or maybe it's just telling you right now you need to kind of like slow down. You do have, what was the bottom card? Up there, yep. You have the Seven of Swords in reverse too. So, yeah, there's kind of like been some corroboration behind the scenes that you aren't seeing. And I think it's telling you, take your time. Take your time. Don't be rash. Don't rush into any decisions during this, the next 7 days, essentially. Um, I think you have a very strong gut feelings that come to you, and for whatever reason, it's going to be hindered. And so you're not going to be able to rely on it as much as you used to. So you might want to take a back seat on some things. Wait a minute. Let's see why this strength card is coming up for you, because it's not making sense, sort of. Maybe you're used to just being rash. I will note that you also did get a lot of major arcana energy too. So this is like big energy that you're dealing with during the lunar eclipse, pile 4. This one is to come out. The temple of my body. Maybe it'll start coming more clear to me. Trust the process. Trust the process. The child I was meant to be. I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this. So I would say overall the theme for tonight, or the theme for this lunar eclipse that I've been getting the entire reading, is there's a lot of facade, masquerading, hiding going on that has been consistent throughout every last deck. What is the underlying energy for this? Is this me? So again, going back to Power 1, they dealt with a lot of stuff dealing with like, theirs was really strong and clear of kind of like a lot of masquerading, faking the funk, being something that they aren't, kind of like believing the lies that they've told everyone about themselves, kind of thing. And it's funny, I'm kind of getting the same thing here, but it's like, it's different. It's not quite that. To me, this kind of feels like you've been, yeah, like led astray is the best way to put it. Um, it feels like, okay, so this is the story that's coming to mind for me. It's kind of like, um, since you were young, you were told and taught to believe this one aspect or thing about yourself, and it really wasn't it really wasn't your dream or your idea or anything like that. But because it was forced on you and it seemed easier to kind of just like go with the flow, you've gone with it. You've done it. Ooh, did my light just go out? Like and that's interesting that my light goes out just when I was reading that too. I feel like I should keep that in here. Um, this this reads pretty dark. But yeah, like you kind of been led astray, and now you're on this like bad path. And I feel like you kind of don't know how to get yourself out of it. I have to be very like vague about this one, because who knows how much I can really divulge on this with it being on YouTube, because you know you get demonetized for the littlest things. So like I feel like I know what this is dealing with, but I'm trying to kind of give you the energy and be vague about this as possible without being so explicit and kind of like what I'm getting. think there was definitely a tumultuous relationship you probably had with your mother or maternal figure. That you have struggled with it, or that you are currently struggling with, dealing with. You have Hades, Lord of Riches, equanimity, wisdom, inevitability. See, even the cards, they don't really want to. Okay, so justice, truth, duty, pandemonium. Okay, so this is what I will say. I feel like I can kind of say this without getting too much into it. You can kind of gather what I'm, you can kind of pick up what I'm putting down when I say this. This reads like, are any of you familiar with, at least you powerful who are tuning into this, are you familiar with the, what is her name, Benet Ramsey case? This kind of feels like that to me. It kind of feels like there was supposed to be some parental protection that isn't there. I think the first person who kind of like betrayed your trust, um, exploited you, was your parent. Unfortunately, that's kind of like what I'm getting from this without getting too much into it. And that's why I was kind of trying to be vague, because that's what it feels like. And I think a lot of it, it really feels like it's on the maternal. Like a lot of the blame is on the maternal side of things. Whew, okay. This is just reading worse and worse and worse, and I'm so sorry, Power 4. Trigger warning if that is what is going on here. Um, to me, you are definitely kind of like in a bad situation here. You're dealing with Capricorn energy, that's devil, fallen angel. It says deals here. It reads very ominous with that here. You also have determination with the Pisces energy. So to me, it kind of feels like yeah, just disillusionment. Um, you are painting or living in this headspace in order to deal with the life that you are living. If what's going on is what's going on. And then you also have fear. It also reads like predatory. Sharks smell blood from miles away and will swim there to take part. Um, And again, you have with this Wheel of Fortune here, you have Hades, you have the Pisces, the Temple of My Body, Deal, Chiron. To me, this just seems like you were being exchanged for, exploited, um, for nefarious means. And that can be something, a very hard wound, a very harsh reality to kind of deal with. Um, and I'm not going to act like I know the first thing about that or how to get through that. Um, so again, it just kind of reads of like your parent really just trespassed your boundaries and your trust and really made you doubt your self-worth. And so what I really want to get into the most important thing, and you see how many cards came out for you, um, of kind of like how to move forward from this. What's going to be some of the solutions? What's going to be some of the first steps? Again, I apologize if this triggers you. It hits too close to home. I don't know where this energy kind of came from because it's much darker and different than the rest of them. I don't know. Let's see. But I'm going with it. I didn't want to say that's what I was getting, but when it keeps coming up, you just have to go with it. It is so many cards that want to come out for you. Jeez. Okay, Spirit, I just need you to give me 3 cards at least. 3 important cards for pile 4. Okay. Can I get one more card for my pile 4s? And what steps they should be taking? See. Okay, well, they decided to give you 4. And the trickster definitely makes sense. The multifaceted attitude makes sense for you all just as much as it did for pile 1, because they also got the inner integration as well, kind of like moving through the phases. This makes me think, so this can be one of 2 ways. Either the person who betrayed you, you no longer can kind of like start with that healing because they are no longer here. They have transitioned. Um, or maybe you have cut them out of your life and you don't even know what they're doing, or if they're even okay. They probably don't know the same thing about you. I think the other thing is that someone here you think is kind of like, because with this trickster here, someone, didn't you get something else about tricksters? Yep, because you had the, so this is definitely dealing with somebody around you. Someone is pretending to be something that they're not, whether it's caring, loving, looking out for your back, or whatever it is, but they're really selling you out for their own benefit. And I don't know if this came about from something like maybe you were adopted, maybe kind of like you were taken, maybe there was a deal there for you to be with this new person that you're with, whatever the case may be. And yeah, you just kind of have somebody that's just praying, P-R-A-Y and P-R-E-Y on your downfall, because it just makes it easier for them to do what they want. And like they really don't care. They have no remorse here. And I think it's hard for you to kind of marry the because for whatever reason I feel like you're starting to see it, or you're just going to realize it, or it's going to start being revealed during this lunar eclipse. It's going to be hard for you to marry like the the caring and kind of like positive person that you see them as with the trickster that they really are, the manipulating person that they really are, the kind of like morbid person that they are and that they have always been. Um, and I feel like this is probably also something you kind of stuck your neck out for. You thought you could trust. You probably found yourself in maybe even worse situations than what I'm picking up on, in order to protect this person, to kind of like get out of things, and you haven't been paid back with the greatest kindness or care or respect or gratitude even. And it's kind of hard for you to kind of have that conversation, because I feel like there is a yearning of kind of like bridging that gap or kind of like understanding, but you're not even able to get that from this person because they don't even want to kind of come to the table to talk, because they're just like, do it. Um, and so, yeah, power for it. I think there is a realization, some discovery, some realizing of like whether this person is moved on or you move on, that the situation is what it is, and you need to at least kind of like come to grips with kind of like your reality. You need to face your reality. You need to hear that music. You need to understand that, yeah, because look, kids. Okay. But yeah, you kind of just have to understand that. Oh, wait, is it also a thing of like maybe somebody close to you has done something to your child? So yeah, I'm gonna close it out on this. Either this is somebody that you have trusted or that you feel like you could trust, that was somebody you felt you could have around your family, your kids, that isn't the best and haven't been the best. Or it's something of you are the child who was exposed to this person and you've kind of haven't had the greatest experience with them. Um, but yeah, it's saying some separation, some closure need to happen, and you kind of need to re- reveal, tell, report whoever this person is, if possible, when you're safe, if you can. Um, and honestly, I feel like this advice is falling a bit short. Yeah, so it just feels like this advice is even for me, it feels like it's falling a bit short. I feel like it should be a lot more to this, but again, this is kind of like the safe bet I can, explanation I can give right now with this being on a public platform. So, sorry that this is such kind of like vague and, yeah, kind of like evasive advice to give you, kind of bullshit advice to give you. But again, this is just kind of like first steps. And, they always say the first step to kind of like any kind of addiction or any problem that you're in, and not saying that you have an addiction, but, they say the first step in road to recovery, to healing, is admittance. So, yeah, I think there's some confessing, some admittance that need to happen here in order for um, maybe the family to come together, for things to kind of like get into alignment. But maybe you need to find the best way to say it, or at least provide proof, because some people aren't going to believe it, because this person seems to be like very glamorous and gold on the outside. So people are like, I don't believe that about that person. So yeah. Um, I hope this helps, Power Four. I know it's probably not the best advice. Again, yours is very darker, very it's darker than the other piles. But I hope this is kind of like giving you some kind of glimmer here of where to start and how to move forward. And again, I hope you can get through this, because at the end of the day, you are not a victim. If you, when you begin to stand up and fight back. You're a survivor. You can still speak about it. You can still do something. You're a survivor, not a victim. So yeah, and with that, I am going to close out of the video. Thank you all for coming, and I will see you on the next upload.